Yes, sir. Have a seat. That'll work. Okay. Perfect. All right. Today is October the 31st, 2011.
Which one?
No, I'm just making an introductory statement.
Oh, an introductory.
Yeah, I've got some basic questions to ask you. I'm just making an introductory statement right now.
Okay.
All right. In a minute, I'm going to start asking you questions. Okay. Yeah, we're here today in the home of John Rail and his son, Robert Rail. My name is Carlton Cartwright. I'm the founder and executive director for the Children's Coalition Incorporated. And the first question, Mr. Rail, is were you drafted or enlisted?
I was drafted.
Okay. Let me see. What branch of the service were you in? What branch of the service were you in?
Engineer.
No, but were you in the Army?
Yeah.
Okay. You were in the United States Army. And what was your rank when you got out of the service?
Major.
Okay. And where did you serve?
Where did I serve?
Yes, sir.
Morocco in Africa, Sicily, Italy, and then Korea.
Okay. All right. Where were you living at the time that you enlisted? That you were drafted, I mean.
Where was I drafted?
Yes, sir. Where were you living?
Medford, Oregon.
Good. All right. Okay. Why did you go into the Army instead of another branch? Why did you go into the Army instead?
I didn't have a choice.
Okay.
That's what they put me in.
Okie doke. All right. Do you remember your first days in service?
Do what?
Your first days in the service. Do you remember them?
The first day in the service?
Well, the first days, like the first couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah. Fort Lewis, Washington. That's...
What was it like? What was it like?
The date?
No. What was it like when you first went into service?
What was it like? Surprising.
What were you surprised about? What were you surprised about?
Surprised about being drafted.
Tell me about basic training. Basic training.
Basic training?
Yes, sir.
Corps of Engineers.
Okay. All right, let's see. Do you remember your instructors? Your instructors. The teachers. The military teachers, your boot camp training?
Yeah, that was boot camp.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Well, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri was a basic training center. That's for 3 months. Then you're assigned to a regular unit after that. That's when I joined the 35th Engineer Regiment.
Okay.
After basic training.
Okay.
I don't remember where it was, Little Rock, Arkansas.
He's asking you how was basic.
No,
How was it?
It's okay. He said it was surprising. He was in shock. I understand. Yeah. Okay. First of all, how old are you?
How old?
How old are you?
That's a good one.
When was your when is your birthday?
November 14, 1916.
Gotcha. So that's going to make you 16, 84, 84 and 11. 84 and 11 was 95. Are you 95, 94?
I'm 94 now, will be 95 in November.
Oh, okay. You got a birthday coming up.
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. All right. Tell me about the war that you served in. Which wars? What wars did you serve in?
What wars? Second World War, Korea War, 2 wars.
Okay. All right. All right. Where exactly did you go? Where did you go? Where did you serve in those wars?
You mean in the First World War?
Yeah.
Morocco, Africa. Sicily, island of Sicily. The mainland of Italy. Came back to the States at VE Day, Victory Europe.
Right.
My unit came back to the United States. I elected to be discharged. I was eligible to be discharged if I wanted, and I accepted a discharge at that point. The Korean War did not occur until let's see. No, I did not return to Korea immediately. I elected to go back into the service in
I'll bring a coffee.
I was not too long before they called me in the Pentagon and said, come back in
Okay.
at your same rank. I accepted that offer. Trying to remember when. That had to be, that on 1950.
Okay.
He can't remember nothing.
He's doing fine.
Guys asking him questions. Where were you?
All right. You remember arriving when you served in Morocco?
Morocco.
Okay. And Sicily. Can you tell me about it?
Oh,
I gotta help.
in Morocco, that was the invasion, the first invasion of that continent, and that was at Casablanca. Then from Casablanca, we moved on up through Africa until George Patton kicked Rommel, the Desert Fox, kicked him and his army out of Africa. That's when we then went to Sicily.
Okay.
And then from Sicily to the mainland of Italy. At VE Day, Victory Europe, returned to the United States.
But before all of that, tell me about your experience. What did you do while you were in Morocco, and what did you do while you were in Sicily?
Yeah, I was an ordnance officer in maintenance, you know, for guns, tanks, rifles, flamethrowers. That was ordnance's job.
Mission. That was the mission.
Yeah.
Okay. So who did you teach? Who did you teach how to use the ordnance? Who did you teach how to use the? Who did you give instruction to?
Oh. My soldiers in my unit.
Okay. And that was in both places, in Morocco and in Sicily, the same job?
And Italy,
And
all
Italy.
through those campaigns, same thing.
Uh-huh.
Ordnance officer in an ordnance unit.
Okay. You remember any of your experiences?
I'm trying to remember the battle up in that monastery up in the mountains where they had the American Army stalemated. You see, that was 5th Army. 5th Army. General Clark. And finally, we were stalemated until the Air Force came over and wiped out the monastery. From then on, we proceeded up to Livorno, Italy. From there, we returned to the United States.
Okay.
He was also there when they captured Mussolini and killed him the day he got there right after that.
Okay. You were there when they captured Mussolini?
Yes, I was. In fact, I got photographs of him hanging up by the feet.
Really?
Wonder where those are. Would they help?
Well, you don't have to look for them right this minute.
Yeah,
Tell him about it.
yeah. We were in Sicily at the time that the Italians killed Mussolini, shot him, and hung him by his feet. You've probably seen pictures of that.
If I have, it's been quite a while. I don't remember,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Shortly after that came Victory Europe. You know, the Germans surrendered. That is when my unit returned to the United States.
Okay. How much time did you spend in Morocco and Sicily and Italy? How long were you over there?
Two years. Let's see, that would be 43, 44. Two years.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so where did you go? Okay, so you came home and you separated from the service.
That's
Okay, and then sounds like you started out in 43 and came home at the end of 44,
45.
45. And how long were you separated before you came back in and went to Korea?
I served, when I came back in, I served until when I returned to the service. The Pentagon sent me a telegram, said, come back in.
Mm-hmm.
I did that.
Okay.
And then I stayed in the service, served in the service until I went to military schools, you know, for different things. The field grade officers course in Aberdeen Proving Grounds, and then on to Korea.
All right, and how long were you in Korea?
Two years.
Mm-hmm. What did you do while you were there?
I was an ordnance advisor to the Turkish United Nations Brigade. That was the name of it.
In Korea?
That was in Korea.
Okay, okay. All right, so tell us about that. What was that experience? What did you do while you were there? You know, day to day, what did you do?
I was an advisor.
Mm-hmm.
There was only 4 American officers with the brigade.
Right.
I was the advisor for ordnance matters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think you said before you didn't actually see any combat?
No, I did not actually serve in combat.
Okay. So what did you teach classes?
I was with them up in the front line, but I myself did not.
Right. So what did you teach these troops? You taught them how to use the equipment?
That is correct.
And you said it once already, but tell me again. It was what, artillery and what else? Tanks, what?
Oh yeah. Ordnance, munitions, ammunition, guns.
Didn't you say flamethrowers before?
Yeah, but I didn't. That was part of. I didn't on that.
Okay.
I did on rifles, machine guns,
Okay.
Rocket launchers, flamethrowers.
All right. Let's go back. In the European theater, the unit that you were in, were there a lot of casualties?
Was I a casualty?
Well, obviously. Well, were you wounded?
No.
Okay. So what about the other troops in your unit in the European theater? Were there a lot of casualties? Did a lot of men in your unit or your regiment, did they get wounded? Were there a lot of wounded warriors? Were there a lot of people that died?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
We were not a combat unit.
Okay. Same thing in Korea? Same thing?
Well, in Korea, I was in the active front line.
Okay.
What you would call that. I was the advisor on munitions, rifles, and all.
Okay.
As far as laying on the front line and engaging in actual combat, I did not.
Okay.
I was not allowed to do that.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, but the men that you delivered the instruction to, did they have a lot of casualties in their unit? Did you see a lot of them being pulled out of there?
You bet they did. The Turkish brigade, the Turkish armies, they were the fiercest fighters with knives.
Okay.
The Chinese didn't bother them very much.
Okay. Like it.
You know why?
Why?
The Turkish brigade would go on sorties up into the enemy territory, cut the Chinese throats. That's why the Chinese didn't bother them very much. I did not engage in an actual sortie with the Turkish soldiers in that combat situation.
Okay. I take it you were never a prisoner of war.
No.
No. Okay. Fine. All right. Okay. Tell me about a couple of your most memorable experiences. Tell me about a couple of your most memorable experiences.
Yes. The death of the Chief of Staff of the Turkish Brigade. I was on the front line at that time by a tank. A mortar from the enemy position, a mortar came in. Everybody hit the dirt. It hit the tank, exploded. Everybody face down, hit the dirt. One grenade, only one. When all was quiet, no more grenades, we all got up from face down, looked over. Colonel Palmier, Chief of Staff of the Brigade, he didn't get up. A fragment from the grenade, or maybe a piece of the tank, but anyway, it struck, went through this side of his helmet, out the other. He was dead. He would come and visit me in the reserve area.
Mm-hmm.
He was like a father to me. I cried. That was awful. It was awful.
Anything of that? Is there anything from the European theater that you remember that was, that stuck out, that stayed with you? Was there anything from the European theater that that you held on to, that you remember vividly? Besides that incident with Mussolini?
Huh?
Was there anything besides the incident surrounding the death of Mussolini?
Yeah. Now, I was not there in Milan when they killed him. Mm-hmm. I was with my unit in Livorno, Italy.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't see them kill him.
All right. Okay. All right.
His own people killed him.
Okay. Were you awarded any medals or citations? Medals. Do you have any medals or citations that you were awarded?
Yeah, but I'll be darned if I could remember them. They called them no Purple Heart. I didn't get wounded. European theater, African theater, ribbons,
Okay, that's fine. How did you stay in touch with your family?
Email. Email. Yeah.
Not email. You wrote letters. You wrote letters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what they call them is little letters, and they would photograph them and send them back.
Really? Postcards? Postcards? Do you mean postcards?
No, not postcards, letters.
Letters, okay. All right. So you were able to stay in touch with your family via mail?
Oh, yes.
Okay, that's
yes.
good. That's good. Well, what was the food like?
Food?
Yeah, what was the food like in Europe?
C rations, you know that name?
Yeah.
and K rations.
Okay.
C rations, K rations.
Okay.
Excellent food. dry. You know,
Yeah.
you had to open it up and cook it over a fire, and that was it.
Okay,
That was the food. The excellent food.
gotcha. Did you have plenty of, what was it? What was the food like in Korea?
The
Same thing?
same thing. K rations, C rations.
Right.
When we were in the reserve area, instead of up in the active combat zone, we were back in the reserve area. The Turkish cooks would cook food,
Oh, okay.
regular food.
Right.
We didn't eat C rations and K rations then. We had nice food.
Okay. Okay. All right. Oh, so in both theaters, did you have enough supplies? Did you always had enough supplies?
Yes.
You had everything you needed? Did you feel a lot of pressure or stress?
Yes, when I was up in the combat zone, that was a lot of pressure. We had grenades dropping all around us, and artillery fire overhead. And that was frightening, but there we were.
Right.
When artillery started coming in, we hit on an icy trail up in the mountains. Bam, we hit the dirt. When the barrage mortars and artillery stopped coming, we got up.
Okay. All right. Moving right along. Was there entertainment? Was there any entertainment while you were in Europe or while you were in Korea? Entertainment. What did people do to entertain themselves? What did you do to
Oh, entertainment?
USO.
There wasn't any.
Okay.
They had movies once in a while,
All right.
or American actors, Bob Hope and the pretty ladies, you know,
Yeah.
they would come at appointed times and entertain on the stage.
Right.
Bob Hope is one of the biggest. Lots of some real good-looking girls. We couldn't touch them,
Right.
but we wanted to.
Okay. Did you go on leave when you were in Europe? Did you go on leave while you were in Europe? No, no furlough.
No way.
furlough. Okay, no. Okay. Did you? Okay. R&R.
Not in the Second War, but in Korea,
Yeah.
I went on R&R
Okay.
to Japan. 2 times.
Right.
Because, you know, in a combat zone, you get the soldiers back in the reserve area, they don't get all those goodies. So they sent us to Japan. I went 2 times.
How was that?
2 weeks each time
All right.
in Japan from Korea.
Right. What was that like?
Oh, that was wonderful. Yeah. Because we're back in an area where there's no combat. Learned all about the Japanese, and I love them. They are wonderful people, not the soldiers, you know, but the Japanese people, cultured, kind, fine. I think a great deal of them. They're wonderful people.
Okay. Okay, let's see. So what did you were an officer yourself, correct? You were a major?
Well, I went from second lieutenant
Uh-huh.
called Shave Tail, promoted then to a first lieutenant.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a first lieutenant for the remainder of the Second War. And at the time I returned to Korea, I was still a first lieutenant in Korea.
Right.
I didn't get promoted to captain until return from Korea to the United States.
Okay.
There's where I then was promoted to the grade of captain.
Right.
Then when I had served I was in the service 21 years total. And that's when I became eligible for retirement. 21 years, I was eligible to ask for retirement.
Okay.
And Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania was where I did that. I elected, well, I didn't elect, I was eligible. They said, you have served your 20 years, we're going to retire you.
Okay.
And they did.
Uh-huh.
I was a major then. I became a major at the time that I retired. That was my retirement grade.
Oh, okay. So, all right, when you left Korea, that's where you went, was Pennsylvania? Pittsburgh?
No, I came back to the United States in trying to think of the name of the done. That was a Fort Hancock, New Jersey.
Okay. And what did you do there?
I was an ordnance officer and received and issued supplies. I was an ordnance supply officer.
Okay. How long were you there?
Maybe 8 months.
Where did you go after that?
My unit went to from Fort Hancock, went to Fort Tilden, Long Island, New York.
Oh, really? Okay. And what was your job there? Same thing?
I had been promoted to captain already.
Okay.
So I was the base ordnance officer at Fort Tilden, Long Island, New York.
Right, right.
That's, to be exact, Rockaway, New York.
Uh-huh. Okay. And how long did you spend there?
3 years as the base ordnance officer there.
Okay.
Next, surprise, they sent me orders to go to Alaska, which I did
Right.
in 19... '56,
Okay.
shipped to Alaska. Served in Alaska for 4 years. Returned to the United States.
Right.
In 19... '56. It's hard to remember that date. I returned from Alaska to my retirement base in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Now, let me ask you some other questions.
Yeah.
When you were in New York and when you were in Alaska, all right, you went on leave. Did you go on leave?
Yeah, once a year you get a...
Yeah. So, did you travel around the country or did you go back home?
No, I didn't go back to my home state.
Did you go to California? Did you visit?
No, that was Pittsburgh.
No. I mean, when you were in Alaska, and you went on R&R, when you went on vacation.
Oh, in R&R?
Yeah. When you were in Alaska, where did you go when you were off?
Stayed home.
You stayed in Alaska?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
When I had my leave time.
Yeah.
And when I had my leave time, I would take my family and drive up to a beautiful lake and fish, and it's a rest camp.
We were with him.
Every soldier got that opportunity once a year for 2 weeks.
Got it.
We went up to the fishing camp and went in boats and just had them all.
Are those your daughters or your sisters?
Granddaughters.
The big girls are your granddaughters?
Those are my daughters.
Those are your daughters, his granddaughters.
His granddaughters.
Yeah, right. Okay. All right. So what about New York? When you got a break in New York, when you were in Rockaway, where did you go?
You're going back again to New York. Before I went to Alaska.
Right.
I served as a base ordnance. I said that before.
Right. Yeah, but when you got a holiday, when you got your 2 weeks off while you were in New York, where did you go? Can you remember?
Where did we go?
It's okay if you can't. Don't.
No, no. Oh, we went into New York City and visited my wife's mother and father.
Okay.
Went to shows and entertainment sites in the city.
Mm-hmm.
That was only for 2 weeks at a time.
Right.
Then back to my base in Fort Tilden, again, where I mentioned before, as a base ordnance officer.
Okay. So, when you were stationed in Pittsburgh, what was your job there?
Ordnance
Again,
officer.
okay.
And
So how was that? Well, that was your last duty station, correct?
my last duty station
Right.
was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania,
Okay. And
in the armory,
In the ar-
at an armory.
at an armory?
An armory,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. So tell us, did you go on leave? How many years? How many years did you have before 20 years? How many years did you spend in Pittsburgh?
Four years.
Okay. Did you go on leave while you were there?
Oh yes,
Where'd you go?
yeah. Once a year, once each year, I get 2 weeks, like all of them military, and that's when we went into New York, visited her parents, and went to shows, and in 2 weeks, just had a ball.
Right. Okay. All right. So how did you feel about your fellow officers? How did you feel about your fellow officers?
All of them were wonderful. They were friendly friends and associates, and I never had any problems with any of my fellow officers.
All right. Good.
They felt the same way about me.
That's good. Okay. Okay. All right. Did you get another career after the war? I mean, after you're serving, you know, when you retired, what did you do after you retired?
Came down to Florida,
Okay.
where my parents lived.
Mm-hmm.
Came to Boynton Beach, Florida,
Did you
where my
work?
parents lived.
Uh huh. Did you get a job or did you just retire?
Yes.
Uh huh. What did you?
I did.
What did you do?
I hired on with the Pratt and Whitney aircraft
Oh, okay.
in Florida,
Yes.
West Palm Beach.
Right. Oh, okay. Uh-huh. And how long were you with them?
20 years.
And then you finally retired?
And then I retired from there. I had enough, 20 years I was eligible to retire from there, and I did.
Right. Okay, we're almost done. Did your military experience influence your thinking about war or about the military in general?
Try that again.
Okie doke. All right, did your military experience influence your thinking about war or about the military in general?
No. just that I was glad to be a part of the defense of my country.
Okay.
That's all. I was proud of every bit of it.
Did you ever belong to any veterans organizations?
Yes. VFW, Veterans of Foreign War,
Right.
and American Legion.
Uh-huh. Okay. You go to any reunions? Have you gone to reunions? Reunions.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Okay.
No, I did not. No. The American Legion, I was a member, I took out a life membership,
Uh-huh.
but I never went to their reunions.
Okay.
I went to the American Legion post in West Palm Beach.
Right.
You know, meetings and get-togethers, drinking beers, highballs, and knocking around with the fellow soldiers that were also members.
Mm-hmm.
And up to this day, I'm still a member.
Okay.
Best organization in the world, American Legion.
How did your service and experiences affect your life?
Affect my life
The military. How did that?
after I got out. How did it affect my life?
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
Proud. Proud of having served,
Okay.
like all the soldiers. I mean, the ones like me.
Okay.
I don't think they all felt that way.
Is there anything you'd like to add that we haven't covered in the interview? Anything else that you'd like to share with us?
Eligible to retire, eligible to travel any place in the world I wanted to. I'm out of the military service, and I did a lot of travel. I was eligible to fly in the military aircraft anytime, any place I wanted to go. Show my ID card. The flight commander says, "Where's your bags? Get aboard." And I always flew the military aircraft. Sometimes, in fact, many times, with the hospital planes. I was eligible, and that was the best transportation of all.
Right.
Hospital plane, they fed you on there, they treated you just wonderful, like an airliner.
Right.
Terrific.
Where did you travel to?
I went to back to Alaska, to visit.
Right.
Japan. That was about it.
Okay, John, we want to thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time and giving us this interview.
Yeah, there was a lot of other things that happened that, hard to remember.
I understand.
But all my time spent as a retiree, eligible to travel, I did that. I took advantage of that. And as I say, I liked the Japanese people so much, I flew to Japan, spent a couple weeks there, enjoyed the Japanese people.
Thank you.
Oh, one incident, I lost my buddy, an officer in ordnance. he contracted some kind of a rare disease, and he died. That hurt me.
Where was that?
That was in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he got sick and died. He's buried in Washington.
In Arlington? In Arlington?
Arlington is where he's buried. I went back and visited, you know, just to say a prayer over his grave. I knew his family, but I didn't go visit them in the States. It was bad memory, you know.
Right.
There's a lot of things happened to me while I was in Pittsburgh. This is going back, and these were memorable events.
Right.
What was the name of the president of Russia?
Khrushchev.
Khrushchev. He came to Pittsburgh, visited the steel mills. You know, that's just like visited the steel mills, and I had the job of guiding our unit around while Khrushchev was visiting. And here, I'm right close to him there. And General Eisenhower was right there also. Memorable events. I feel very proud to be a part of that.
Right.
His brother was a big time war hero. Silver Star, Bronze Star.
Oh, really? Is your brother still alive? Your son was telling me that your brother was a war hero?
Bob. Your brother Bob.
Yeah.
He was a hero. He had the Silver Star.
Oh yeah, my brother Robert, he was one older than I, 1 year older than I, and he was in the artillery in Europe, possibly in the battle of Bastogne.
Right.
155 millimeter artillery. That's a big gun. And he was in that unit. He won the Silver Star. He was decorated with the Silver Star medal.
Right.
I never won any medals, but he did.
Okay.
I won ribbons, you know. I had another brother in the service. Robert.
Clifford.
Huh?
Your
Clifford.
Clifford served on.
Clifford was in the military service. He was 9 years younger than I.
That's your brother?
Navy.
Yeah, okay.
He was in the Navy. On the the cruiser USNS San Diego. It was a cruiser. He was wounded. He got a Purple Heart. He was lucky. He got a Purple Heart for being injured.
Right.
He's still living in California, in well, up in northern, just outside of Los Angeles. I'm trying to think of the name of the place. We were there.
Yucca Valley.
Yucca Valley, that's up, way up on in the desert in California. He was a good sailor, father of a nice family. He's still a veteran, gets cared for by the Veterans Administration.
Right.
Has a nice family. I'm proud of him. They had, no, I can't say that. I was going to say they had more warfare than I. No way. I think of my experiences and compared to theirs. They were in combat, and Clifford got wounded, got his Purple Heart. Robert did also.
Mm-hmm.
I was never wounded, so I didn't get a Purple Heart.
Mm-hmm.
Happy me. Very lucky. My most memorable experience in my total service was at the time of Eisenhower and Khrushchev's visit to Pittsburgh.
Right.
I was very proud, and even today, very proud of that experience. I was with down in Pittsburgh. That was during the that was a very memorable experience. I was right there rubbing soldiers with Eisenhower and Khrushchev. I was right there alongside of them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't say too much with pride, but those are experiences. Yes, I was proud.
Okay.
But I never bragged. I never bragged. I was just one of many soldiers in the service.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope they were proud of me too.
Okay. Okay, John. Well, I'm going to thank you one more time, okay, for sharing this experience with us.